Hey there guys, MinishCap1, doing some more top lane gameplay here. This is actually a top lane post-game commentary. I had a game offline where I popped off super hard. I wanted to talk to you guys about it, wanted to do a post-game commentary because I haven't done one of these in a very long time. But I've been using recording software to record my games, and that way I'm able to give you guys a post-game commentary from my perspective, not from the replay, which can be kind of lame, because I know people like to see post-game commentaries from the player perspective like this, because you like to see, you know, what we're looking at, how we look at the map, how we approach the laning phase mechanically and stuff like that, like what we click on, mouse movements, character movements, stuff like that, right? So I want to do a bit of a post-game commentary here and just give you guys my thoughts on this game, some more thoughts on the old Predator Singed, Ignite Flash, stuff like that. This game, you'll actually notice that I'm laning versus a Nocturne top lane. So Nocturne top lane, and just Nocturne lane in general, has been very popular recently. After, I think not just, he was playing near MSI Finals, he's been played competitively quite a bit recently. I think he got played in NA/LCS as well. But the thing that makes this champion so strong is he has really good 1v1, he has strong wave clear, decent split pushing, he's hard to gank because of his spell shield, he has really high damage output, good burst, and obviously his ultimate is super strong as well in order to kill a squishy target. He has great itemization, he has stride breaker and stuff like that. And we are playing Singed, of course. So I'm playing Lin a little bit defensively here, just letting him push the wave into me. You'll notice this game that I do actually go down quite a bit in CS, but I end up outperforming the Nocturne very hard because of the decisions that I make and the gameplay that I do, right? So right here, I pinged missing because the Nocturne went in a fog of war. My team dies 2v2, so I start to push the wave out. And then Nocturne shows back up, which is fine. I think he shows up. Does he? I don't remember exactly. So this game, I actually did end up going Riftmaker, and I wanted to talk to you guys about the reason why I went Riftmaker this game. So here's Nocturne, right? We start fighting. I actually have a level advantage, and I have Ignite is why I fought him here, and so he actually goes for a spell shield here, and as he goes for that, I back off. He goes for the Q, misses it. I go for the flash, or sorry, I go for the Ignite Fling auto, get the kill. I think even if he hit that Q, I could have probably flashed it, but I saw that it was going to miss, so I just didn't even bother. He flashed on me, so now his flash is down. He gets to come back in the lane into a freeze. So the thing about Nocturne, though, is he has a hard time setting up a perfect freeze because it's passive, right? Nocturne's passive will naturally slowly push the lane. He's one of those champions that can't maintain a perfect freeze. Sort of similar to, like, I guess a good example is Tristana, right? She can't really maintain a perfect freeze if she leveled up Explosive Shot, because her Explosive Shot will always naturally push the lane. So these types of characters, they have to be very careful about whether or not they actually, you know, push or freeze, right? Because their ability to set up a perfect freeze is like not really as good as other champions that don't need to have to be forced to use AoE abilities to CS, right? Even on Singed, you could potentially freeze a lane better than Nocturne. The downside is that you have a harder time trading. But because you don't like require your poison to be on the freeze, you can maintain a freeze a little better, right? So even though he's trying to freeze, the wave is already starting to push back towards me. Right there, warding for the Olaf. But yeah, this game you'll notice that I actually went Riftmaker, and the reason why I went Riftmaker is because looking at their team comp, it's a team comp that's not very typically played in solo queue right now in high elo. It's a dive comp. And anti-dive AD carries are actually quite strong right now. So like we have like the big ones are probably Varus, Kai'Sa, and Ezreal. Especially Ezreal this patch after the Divine Sunderer buff. But anti-dive AD carries are actually quite strong right now. And the reason why anti-dive AD carries are quite strong right now is because, you know, Ezreal got the Sunderer buff, he's good at kiting backwards. Kai'Sa always great at kiting backwards with his shield and stealth. Varus has great CC to peel himself. And he also can just poke people out before they even get into a fight, right? So these anti-dive AD carries are quite decent. That being said, Nocturne with Stride Breaker is also like really just good at diving in general. So that's the reason why Nocturne is played. Is he can kill the AD carries by diving them, the ones that are good at not being dove, right? Because Nocturne's just that type of champion. But you don't see these types of team comps, enemy team comps, very often in solo queue, like the Olaf, you know, the Nocturne together just charging the enemy backline. Versus a champion like Kai'Sa. If it's like a non-Kai'Sa champion, they do like to play it, but generally you don't see it a whole lot. And I recognize that in champion select, so I actually made a few adjustments to my gameplay. I'm pinging the Nocturne missing here because Nocturne's obviously, he's level 6 right here. He's going mid, I had to play defensively, he pinged 6 first. I pinged it, you know, they didn't back off, it's whatever, I have to deal with it. He actually goes mid and gets 2 kills here. My bot lane got a kill as well, which is decent. But yeah, it was actually super close. I think my Silas, I think he said it was, yeah, he said it was his W was ready on 0.1 seconds. But I was looking at their team comp in Champ Select, and I saw that they were like a really heavy dive comp, right? Like they have to dive into our team to fight. They can't just kite back. Like very uncommonly, you know, you will see these 4 melee comps. So here actually, I saw that Kiana was here. I saw that my Ignite is up and that my ult is up, so I actually tried to fight her. I should have probably just ulted first. I don't know why I didn't, but I actually, I ulted first. We're fighting here. She ults me into the wall, and I could have actually killed her here if I had mana for Fling, but I was because I was on 1 potion charge. And I didn't ult first immediately as soon as I started fighting her, because then my mana regen didn't really kick in. So yeah, a bit of a mistake there, but it ends up being okay as the game wears on. So I was looking at their team comp. I took Ravenous Hunter in this game because I knew going into this game that they have to dive my team, and because of that I wanted to run Riftmaker. So the reason why I did that, you know, even though I say Riftmaker is usually outperformed by Rocket Belt, usually, I will say usually it is outperformed by Rocket Belt, but in a game like this where I don't really have a benefit of having Rocket Belt, the benefit of Rocket Belt is that I can catch. I don't really need to catch this game. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna run into me. So, therefore, the benefit of Rocket Belt is very diminished. Get it? Diminished? It's very diminished in comparison to Riftmaker, where Riftmaker over the course of the fight is gonna give me way more value in terms of damage and sustain. When I pair it with Ravenous Hunter, it's going to give me more value in terms of damage and sustain than Rocket Belt this game, because they're just running into us, right? And bear in mind, the reason why I say that generally Rocket Belt does outperform Riftmaker is that you don't really run into team comps like this very often anymore. You don't really run into comps that just run into you and just fight you in melee range, right? That's not always the case anymore. A lot of team comps these days tend to be very ranged oriented. Especially in solo queue, and you will notice that, right? So a lot of these enemy team comps do tend to be, given the cheeky happy bee whenever my team's performing there, you'll notice that a lot of these team comps tend to be very ranged oriented, right? So that means that Rocket Belt generally against those types of team comps will have more value, because you get a gap closer and a little bit of movement speed to help catch them out. But think about it, right? If you're versus an enemy team comp, and 4 out of 5 of their champions have to run into you to be effective. Like, they have to just brawl in melee range. Would you rather have Riftmaker, or would you rather have Rocket Belt? So here, Kiana is harassing us. My Nunu's Smite and Consume is down for 3 seconds, so we get it there. She ults me, she ignites, goes for the Qs. I pop ultimate, I get away here just barely. What actually ends up saving me is the slight healing from my Leeching Leer and my 1 stack of Ravenous Hunter. I lived with like 16 or less than 16 HP there. I didn't see exactly exactly how low I was, but excuse me. I don't know why my Nunu didn't recall there. I don't remember if he dies or not, but I went Tabby this game. Yeah, he dies in Nocturne Ultimate, so I went Tabby this game because 4 of them are AD. They have Varus, they have Nocturne, they have Kiana and Olaf. So the Tabbies get very high value. I ended up going Riftmaker as my mythic because, again, like I explained, they're just running into us. Like, that's their team comp. And that means that they're forced to fight inside of poison. And if it's like a situation like that where, like, I know for sure, you know, 100% that they're going to be in my poison trail every fight, then Riftmaker, yeah, I think it will give you more value. That 10% damage increase will... 9% now, but that 9% damage increase is going to be pretty big value this game, because, you know, I'm going to actually be able to reliably use it 100% of the time. And that's not really the case always with Riftmaker, is why it's not the most reliable mythic, but against a comp like this where, like, you know, right, that they're going to be there in your poison, it's not bad at all. So here I was making a decision as I walked towards mid. I did not know whether or not to rotate bottom and help my team out. My team ends up going 1 for 1 there, and I decide to walk down. I have Predator up, so I'm going to walk down and cut these 2 off. Here's popping the Predator. I should have actually walked down sooner, I think. That was a mistake, but it ends up working out, I think. Right here, pop poison on the Varus, kill him. My poison, I actually turned it off, I guess. I don't know. I noticed it was off there, thankfully. Otherwise, I could have gone really poorly. Then got the double kill. I don't know exactly why it turned off, but I turned it on, remember, as I walked towards the Varus. So here, I predict the Kiana ultimate, flash away from it, fling her, and then we get a kill on her with Kaisa. It was a pretty sick outplay, I will say. See, my Nunu is pinging me alive. Very nice, very nice. Alright, now I'm buying the second half of Riftmaker, getting that Blasting Wand. And the nice part about this is when I recalled, my ultimate was actually still running, so I just run out of the base faster. After that fight, I have 4 stack of Ravenous Hunter, which is awesome. So Ravenous Hunter is 1.5% Omnivamp per stack. So 1.53, 4.56% right there from Ravenous Hunter, and then 5% from Leeching Layer, so I have 9% or 11%, which is really good for this early in the game to have 11% Omnivamp. Again, Poison Trail is only 33% effective, so a lot of the healing you get from Riftmaker is going to be on your fling, but it's not like your poison's healing you for nothing, right? So here, I'm honestly not really scared if Nocturne's ulting me, because I'm full health, I have Tabby, and I have a lot of Omnivamp. He actually ended up ulting top lane and killing the Silas 1v1, so what I'm going to do here is rotate towards top to defend the tower. So I'm looking at mid, and our mid tower is full, almost full HP from what I'm aware. It has 5 plates on it. I see Nocturne is aggressively pushing, so I'm going to pop the Predator and just run towards him. He sees the he hears the Predator sound that you can hear it whenever enemy is close to you. So he hears it and then just runs away because he's scared. Or you can also see the little wolf above your head. That works too. Here, just watching for Nocturne, seeing if he's recalling. Walk backwards with poison on, doing a bit of damage to him, and not super afraid of walking into the wave because I know I can heal up a little bit with my Omnivamp and my potion. Grab the cannon here. Now, I noticed that dragon is spawning here in about 30 seconds, so I wanted to recall there and buy Riftmaker. Did not have the chance, so I'm just going to walk all the way down to dragon, I think. Stop and grab these. Also doing the scuttle on the way down. And this is a very awkward position that you want to try to avoid. If I had the opportunity to recall, I would have taken it, but sadly, you know, not having Riftmaker for this, I think ends up hurting me a little bit. End up walking down. I think Nocturne walked down through the Fog of War right above me. So we go 1 for 1 there. Support for enemy mid. So I'm thinking like we have a really good shot right here. You know, their mid's down and our support's down, so we're actually at a combat advantage technically. But it ends up. What happens here? Okay, I walk in the bush where Nocturne is. I did not think that I actually didn't die to him that quickly, but what happened was the Olaf axe hit and then the Rel CC happened, so it's just not that great of a fight. That was my mistake for walking in the bush there. I really shouldn't have done that, but hey, you know, this is why watching your replays is very important. Very, very important. The software that I'm using, by the way, to record these is called Medal.tv. It's like the successor to Plays.tv, if you guys have been around for a while. I'll say a while. Like, there used to be a software called Plays.tv that would just automatically record all of your league games. So that's what this is, basically. You can set it to record your full league games. Medal.tv, I think is what it's called. I have a separate 4 terabyte hard drive that I use for storage and stuff that I'm recording to. The files are big, don't get me wrong. They're like 2 or 3 gigs per game. But I just like delete the ones that I don't need and save the ones that I'm going to use for footage, basically. And because I'm recording to such a massive hard drive, it's okay. It was a bit of a recording error there. Did notice that. It was a good call, I think, because then I can like see games like this and go back and watch them from my own perspective, and I can like also compare it to the actual in-game replay files. You will improve a lot watching your own replays. It is quite important, and I recommend that every player should do it. No matter how high elo you are, how low elo you are, there's always something you can learn from watching your replays, especially in games where you know that you fucked up. So here I'm just taking the small raptors. A little bit of gold, not going to hurt Nunu that much to lose those. And just gives me a little bit of extra income as well. Trying to not take the big one though, because I know that he wants the big one for EXP and gold. So here I'm just keeping the Nocturne pushed in, wanting to make sure that he doesn't get the roam off. Chasing me a little bit through my Poison Trail. But this is again why I think Riftmaker was good this game, because he asked to chase me through Poison Trail. So I noticed that Nocturne's not ulting us, so maybe he's ulting, so he ulted Nami actually down there and she died. But we get Rift Herald for it, you know, sorry Nami. You know, you had a bit of a rough game this game versus the Nocturne, but it worked out. So here, you have to be able to capitalize on any mistakes like this. I see Varus, who turned the corner for some reason, saw it, jumped on it, Kai'Sa jumped on it too. The Rel tries to jump over the wall, messes up. I would have flashed after, even if not. The reason why I ignited her is I wanted to make sure that she dies because I wanted her stack her Ravenous Hunter. Now I'm fully stacked Ravenous Hunter, which is I think 7.5% Omnivamp of stacks, and then Riftmaker at base is 8%. So I have 15.5% Omnivamp currently, which, you know, for 17 minutes in the game, that's quite a lot. It's not bad at all. Right here, Kiana ult on tower, so I ended up backing off. Then we actually called for the disengage. Everyone walked away, but then my Silas actually, I guess, just fully committed to that. His name, he did that, and then he surrendered. His summoner name is 2K Ego. So yeah, oh, that's funny. Right here, I'm pinging to defend mid because I noticed that my Nami and my Kai'Sa are for some reason wanting to recall while they're pushing mid. So I'm like, no, we have to hold mid. Holding mid's very important. I just strolled towards mid, hoping to get them to back off just if they see me. I get frozen by Kiana, pop the Varus ultimate there. Could not get the Rel, sadly, but that's fine. We ended up making them back off, which is cool. That's what we wanted, right? Looking for the recall here. I'm pinging my Nunu on the Nocturne just to see if he'll go and defend that tower. Then I buy the Giant Spell, and I buy a pink ward and a blue ward. Generally, at some point in the game, I'll always switch to blue ward if I can, because it helps a lot with not face-checking bushes. You don't have to do this. I just like doing it because it helps, again, with not insta-dying if you face-check the wrong bush. Also gives you long-range vision on Baron, just in case enemy team does go for Baron. So here, what I was kind of confused about is the Nunu didn't actually defend the tower from these minions. He, like, sees them hitting it, but didn't try and defend it. Then it dies to minion auto attacks, which I thought was kind of silly, but yeah, okay, whatever. You know, it's jungle mains aren't known for the highest of high IQs. I love you, my jungle mains. I love you. Please gank my lane. So here, Nunu is actually thinking this is a big IQ move by Nunu. This is good by him. He actually sees that Nocturne is overextending for farm, so we just run it. We run it Nocturne here. Pop my Predator. Get onto him. Get the snowball slow on him. Nunu pops the R. I fling him into it to keep him in. Nunu donates me the kill. Very easy. I probably didn't even need to ult, but it helps just to help secure it with movement speed, right? So here, I am worried about the enemy team potentially getting a third dragon because they're on 2 right now. That's why I'm not recalling even though I have a lot of gold. I want to make sure that my team is able to fight. My Kai'Sa walks up and gets 2 kills, which is huge. So at this point, the dragon is basically secured. I walk up to cut off the Olaf because I saw that he's still farming the wolves here. He ends up ulting and just running away. Can't really, you know, properly CC him. Fine, whatever. We get the dragon. I have Rylai's on my recall as well, which is good. So now I'm in a super good spot. The reason why I went Rylai second here is because, not, you know, obviously high AP, but the reason why I went Rylai's primarily was because we're going to be fighting in melee range. I know we're going to be fighting in melee range. The Rylai's will absolutely hurt Kiana and Nocturne and Rel very hard. It won't hurt Olaf nearly as much because Olaf does have that CC immunity on his ultimate for what is like 10 seconds. I think it's like 6, but it feels like longer. He does have CC immunity for a while, right? So it'll hurt the other 2 way more, or the other 3 way more, Nocturne, Kiana, and Rel. So here, Kiana is vastly overextended. I have Rylai's, I have Riftmaker, you know, I have my ultimate, I'm a level up on her, I have Ignite as well in case I even need that to kill her. I just see her and I just go for it. She's massive fling damage, holy crap, got her to less than half health just with that. Pop the Ignite so I have vision of her going to the bush to see if she flashed or anything. I do see her go over the wall, didn't flash. She walks back into the bush, fling her, get the kill. I see my team is fighting while I'm doing that, so I'm going to go ahead and walk right over to them, just in case I can be there for backup. Or actually, I don't. I went for the blue buff. Well, yeah, that's fine too, I guess. You know, without ultimate, I'm not really that much of a combat threat, so we do end up trading, I think, the Kiana kill for killing the Nunu. Do they go for Baron here? I don't remember, but we have a ward on the Baron just there from someone's blue ward, while Kaisa is pushing mid. So we ended up trading top tier 2 while Nocturne split pushing for the mid tier 1, which is a better trade for us. The mid tier 2 versus top tier 2. The mid tier 2 is more valuable. Mid towers are more valuable than top towers generally because mid towers give you the most map control when you kill them. So here, you know, again, analyzing their team comp, decided that I wanted to go for a demonic helm. Excuse me. Normally, I don't actually go for demonic helm, and what I probably should have gone for here was a Rylai. Sorry, not Rylai's, but Morello, because the Olaf and the Nocturne both are getting decent triumph healing this game. But in hindsight, the demonic was not a bad choice at all, because the Olaf and the Nocturne do have a lot of HP, and this helps me a lot to help deal with them. Right here, I get popped with the Varus ultimate, and they're kiting away from me. Find my Predator, fling her, run towards the Varus. They're separated. Now the entire enemy team, basically, besides the Varus, is running through my Riftmaker and poison. And it's just gonna be massive value here. Like they're just kind of dying, which is really nice. This is a huge bubble by the Nami, so they actually step into poison there. The Rel dies as well, which is awesome. I gotta check did I check Riftmaker after this fight? What was my value there? Right here, I'm waiting for Nami to walk up because I don't want to face check with Bush. She has sweeper, so we can look at it from a distance. Here's Kiana. Bubble into the Goofling. That was a sick play. Very nice. And then now here, this is actually awesome. I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't have Ravenous Riftmaker, but because I have Ravenous Riftmaker, I can tank enough damage from the Baron to where Nunu can just spam Qs on it, and then we can just kill it, which is super nice. Also have Nami healing, that definitely helps. I'm really not worried about the Varus damage at all. Right here. Maybe I should be after he ults me and goes another Q on me. The Fling buff is actually helping here a lot, by the way. The Fling buff is giving me nice DPS on the Baron, which helps quite a bit. Actually ends up me being the one who smites it, so this is something I notice a lot of teams in solo queue do for some reason. They will fight immediately after securing Baron when our health is all low. I just really don't know why they do it. It's such a bad idea usually to fight immediately after Baron. In this case, it worked out because my Kaisa just is playing better than them. But you can't like rely on that, right? I don't know why teams do this. You really generally shouldn't do it because it's better just to recall and reset and control your waves and just look for like the reliable play, which is sieging. But it worked out there, which is okay. Right here, I'm taking this camp to finish my demonic helm. Grab demonic there. Now because we have Baron, we look at the siege. So Riftmaker so far has done 1105 damage, which is quite decent. That's definitely more than a rocket belt would have probably done at this stage of the game, just because I wouldn't be rocket belting towards the Varus. It's very hard to dive a Varus who has Rel anyways. So like I said before, this game I just approached with the idea that I'm going to be brawling the Nocturne and the Olaf for the majority of the game, which ended up being quite true. So they're just warding out, seeing where their team's coming from. See him on the ward, the dragon's about to spawn. And I want you guys to watch the way that I played this fight. This is very important. And this is how I thought the fight would go whenever I analyzed their team comp. So here I got poked a bit by the dragon, popped my potion. Riftmaker doing a little bit of healing on me as well. Pop Predator just in case the fight starts. I don't actually fling the Rel. I kite backwards into my team, try and fling the Kiana off. Spreading poison on all of them right now. Got 2 kills with poison. Doing a lot of damage. Put doubly down the Rel. Fling her back into my team. Just getting big value off the poison. Big value off of the demonic helm there. As the entire enemy team just runs into me. Because they have no choice, right? How else do they kill Kaisa? And they didn't even kill her. You know, I'm just peeling for my Kaisa, and they're being forced to run through my poison, which is awesome. This is why Singed is so good against dive comps like this, because you can just run on top of your AD carry, and you know for sure that they will be in your poison. It is super awesome. Here, just casually pushing, I'm getting decent healing off my Riftmaker, so just healed 500 health right there. 600 health right there. Just farming minions, which is nice. Then I can leave. I have to watch for the Nocturne ultimate, but honestly, with the items that I have, I'm not scared of Nocturne even ults me out of the base right now. So I'm just casually clearing this ward. Now we leave. Oh, I also have the dragon buff there. I think I have 2 ocean buffs just healing me as well, which heals you more the lower health you are. So here I actually decided to end up last iteming a death cap, just in case the game did go this long, because I wanted just raw damage, right? I think they had some MR, so maybe Void Staff. Yeah, so the Nocturne Olaf did have some MR, so maybe Void Staff would have actually been the cheaper and better option, but it's not like death cap is really ever bad on Singed. You know, your poison ratio is awesome, your fling with the cooldown buff is going to make good use of the AP as well. So it's not that death cap is ever bad, it's that certain times Void Staff is better. And if you can get both, by all means, you know, I would have ended up selling my potion for either a Morello or a Void Staff this game. But I wanted a death cap just to have, like, really good scaling in a late game hitting power. So here we are trying to cut off the Kiana. She can go either direction here. She ends up ulting the wall to stun Nunu. I popped Predator a while ago, just trying to cut her off here. She flashes away, which is fine. I decided to go for the fight here, which is, in hindsight, probably a bad idea, because I also flung the Olaf onto his axe. Although that did happen, Riftmaker's giving me good value here. I just healed, actually, if you're watching my health bar, I just healed 200 health just as the fight was happening. But I ended up overextending there, sadly overextending, and just getting blown up really quickly, which is, you know, one of the downsides of not having tenacity in your rune set, which is sort of frustrating sometimes with Predator. Not that you can't run Predator with tenacity. You can run Predator with tenacity. You know, you can run it with unflinching and resolve. Or you can even run it with precision, tenacity. I like celerity and I like inspiration with this setup personally, but tenacity is also really good. I actually climbed Challenger last season playing tenacity second Predator, but I find this season that the mobility is really valuable, which is why I have been going the mobility-oriented pages, like inspiration or sorcery. But yeah, it's not that Death Cap is ever bad on Singed. Sometimes other items are just better. Death Cap, I think, honestly, I have a feeling that it might be core on Singed this season, just because like it helps you so much after they buffed Poison Trail. You just smack and smack and smack with your poison. You just destroy with Death Cap Poison Trail. It is really nice. For a while there, you guys remember, I was actually building mythic items straight into Death Cap second, like Riftmaker Death Cap or Rocket Belt Death Cap, because I think after the Poison Trail buff, it really just is that good for Singed. To have that Death Cap, to have that raw AP, and plus because we're missing so much damage from not having the old Leandries anymore, it is helpful in the situation. So right here, my team is just brawling in their base, trying to end the game. Hop my Predator. Look at the fling on Kiana here. Oh, massive fling damage. Just huge. Got the flash fling kill on Varus, and there you go. So I hope you guys enjoyed that game, and have a good day.